Hi everyone, it's Gene Calderon here again with Gene Calderon Apologetics Ministries, going through some basic teachings on the concepts and the ideas and the images of the holiday we know as Halloween. Again, we've done some previous videos on what that means and what the name comes from and how the traditions came about. But today we're looking at specific images that are always found during this time, especially if someone is participating, celebrating, or decorating for Halloween. Again, if you want some answers to those kind of questions, go back a few videos, you'll find those, or leave a link here. Say, hey, where's that link? I'll share that for you. Today, I wanted to talk about skeletons and monsters. Okay, we see those all the time. Sometimes they're fun. Sometimes they're played with in different ways. But what is the significance? What can we do from a Christian worldview to be able to respond to seeing skeletons and monsters? Well, since the Halloween season is full of these images of gravestones and skeletons, it gives us the perfect opportunity to ask someone or to discuss with someone, hey, what do you think happens to us after we die? Generally, after the whole body deteriorates, all that is left of our dead bodies is going to be the skeleton or the bones and a tombstone or, something like that we'll see as a decoration. In a biblical worldview, physical death is not the end of us. The spirits go to dwell with Christ in heaven. But even that is just temporary. God's permanent plan is for us to live for all of eternity with new and glorious bodies here on earth. We read this in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 13. So skeletons and tombstones, they're all visual reminders that our bodies or the ashes of our bodies that sleep or rest in peace, which fits very well with the Christian concept, we do that until Christ's return, and he will clothe us with new bodies. We read this in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Read, I declare to you, brothers, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable. Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For the perishable must clothe itself with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality. When the perishable has been clothed with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality, then the saying that is written will come true, death has been swallowed up in victory. And so when it comes to looking at gravestones and skeletons and even death itself, we can understand that that's not the end. That is just a step into the next phase of how we will spend all of eternity either with God or separated from God. Now, let's look at this idea of monsters. Again, another very popular theme on Halloween. We even see some cartoons or some great movies that really focus on monsters. They've lightened it up. They've made it a lot less scary and more fun. But since Halloween is that season where it's full of images of monsters, it again gives us another opportunity to discuss how outward appearances can be deceiving and that they don't necessarily represent what's on the inside. Again, a common theme we see in a lot of cartoons or animation today. The Bible tells us that even Jesus himself, in human form, had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. So that's pretty different than what you might expect to hear about a description of Jesus. Well, what do we read about Satan? Well, Satan, on the other hand, was the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. We read that in the book of Ezekiel chapter 28. But God says to him, your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So we see that, again, the outward appearance really doesn't reveal the heart or what's in somebody, which really makes them who they are. Now, what about these monstrous-looking things like gargoyles that are all over medieval churches or even, again, in some movies or cartoons? Now, though some historians believe that these creatures were made by superstitious Christians in an effort to drive away evil spirits, there are a variety of other possible meanings. Medieval Christians recognized that God could redeem all things and even the most grotesque forms. And since the beauty and the artistry of so many of the medieval churches was found on the inside of the walls, maybe there was a deeper message that the ugliness on the outside was not necessarily an indication of what could be found on the inside. At least that's what some scholars think. We naturally associate beauty with goodness and what we would call ugliness with evil. But is that how God really sees the world? The Bible tells us this in 1 Samuel chapter 16, that man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And so images of monsters may be, again, another perfect opportunity to teach us not to judge others by their physical appearance. Because a deformed person, or what we might call a monster by the world standards, may have a beautiful heart, while a beautiful person may be wicked and have what we would call a monstrous heart. We will all see things as they really are when Jesus returns to judge the world. And it's by his standards, by his morality, and by his deeper understanding of looking inward that we will recognize all things that are revealed through his eyes and understand the truth of God. Hope this helps you. Again, when we're talking about some different concepts, let's take a Christian perspective. Let's start redeeming some of those ideas and using them to point back to Jesus Christ. Hope this helps you. Again, we got a couple more coming up. God bless you. Thanks for watching. See you soon.